Morning everybody. Today is sort of a bit of a dicking around day really. There's not a great deal happening, but there's a little bit of work to do. So what we're up to is, I'll explain throughout the video, but I'm going to jump in the 3505, hook up to the bale pickup, and we're going to dump some of 2019's hay. So that's pretty much all we got left over. I think it's about 10 bales of that old hay. Just going to dump that all out to the cows, get rid of it. Bring the tractor back in, using 3505. The 6310 is currently out of commission. There's a video coming out on that hopefully within the next couple of weeks. Yeah, once we've done that, we will be on the hunt for some lost horses. And by lost horses, I mean lost horsepower out of this thing. Yeah, I'll explain that when we get to it. So we'll hook up to the bale feed out and we'll start feeding out these bales of hay. Right, everybody, just finished up feeding those cattle. Put about 7 bales out, I think. And I think there's about 6 or 7 left. There was a lot more than what we originally thought of those bales from 2019. So we'll probably let the cattle chew on the ones I put out, and we'll probably save those ones for either next weekend or the following, just depending on how much they have left. Anyway, so what I was talking about with trying to catch them loose horses that have escaped from the 3505, I noticed a while back that with the hand throttle, if I push it up hard enough, which is further than what it can actually really go, I could still get a little bit more power out of the engine, so a little bit more RPM. Anyway, I had a bit of a play around one day, and I think it was either Dad or my missus in there. I said put it open throttle, and I grabbed, I think it was this fitting here, this one up the top on this little linkage, and I can push that up higher when it's at wide open throttle. And there's a small spring in that lever, in that linkage, and it must have been compressed down. It's like worn out, and it's not letting it open all the way up on the fuel pump. So when we're at wide open throttle on the hand control, there's still, you know, a fair bit more power to be had that we can't get just because of that spring. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the bonnet off and pull that linkage apart, try and get the spring out, and yeah, go about getting a new spring in there, or we may have one around here that'll do the job. But we're going to come back tomorrow morning and do that, and yeah, we'll see whether or not we can round up them ponies and put them back in the 3505. So I'll see you in the morning. Alright everybody, back again. Got the 3505 in the shed, got a runner at the moment. What I'll do is I'll get Dad to jump in the tractor and open up the wide open throttle, and I'll show you what I was talking about with that linkage, about how I can get more power out of the tractor still, or more revs really. Yeah, so I'll get Dad to jump up in there, I'll show you that, and then we'll pull the bonnet up and see what we can do. Alright, that's running at full noise with the hand throttle all the way up. So I'll grab the linkage on the pump and see how much more power it'll give. Yeah, so as you saw there, I had that wide open on the hand throttle, and I could still get a fair bit more revs out of it just by lifting that linkage up, which is got to do with that spring. So we'll try and sort that out. Okay, we just took the bonnet, well, lifted it up as you can see. So there's the linkage with the spring in it there. That's wide open throttle, and you can see I can still lift it up, which looks like that spring's lost tension. We can still, you know, lift it up that far. So there's just a split pin in the top of it. So if we pull that out, we should be able to pull that spring out, and hopefully we have a spring that's got more tension than that that'll fit it. If not, we can just get one in town. But that's where the ponies have escaped from. So we'll pull that out and have a look at it. Alright, so we pulled this spring out, and there's a little screw in there as well that can increase the tension on that spring to raise it up. Did it up all the way, we pulled the spring out, looked at the spring. The tension on the spring still seemed pretty good, and there wasn't like any crud in there or anything, so we sort of questioned why it wasn't going all the way to full throttle. Anyway, we come down to the bottom here to where, we'll get it up, that spring just here. So that's the return spring for both the throttle and the fuel pump shut off. Anyway, we had a look at that, pulled it off, and it turned out that that spring that's not the original Massey Ferguson spring, and someone who's worked on it previously when we've taken it away to a mechanic before, like way back in the day, must have lost the original spring, and they've put on just a one they could find, and they've modified it to fit. But when they've done that, it's shortened the travel because of how much tension's on that spring. It's allowed it not to travel all the way up. So it's actually lost power, and we've never really noticed, because the tractor always ran all right until like sort of now, when she's a bit older and she's a bit more gutless, and when I sort of noticed it. So we've always been missing that little bit extra, which might be 200 RPM or so, which in the scheme of things isn't like a massive amount, but now that it's a bit less power in the tractor, it's quite a bit. So what we did was we pulled that spring off. We didn't have a tension spring that was that had less tension than that. So what we done was we just pulled that out, stretched the top of it a bit and looped it back around. We just had the tractor running there and we just checked it. All the slop's gone out of it now. So the ponies have been rounded up and put back in the engine. So when Dad gets off the phone, I'll get him to jump back in the tractor, we'll start it up. And yeah, we'll have a listen and I'll show you that all the slop's gone out of this linkage and that should be a done deal and happy days. So wait for Dad to come back over and then we'll show you that. Alright, so I just spoke with Dad before we put the bonnet and everything back down on the tractor. We're going to actually replace the tacho cable. Years ago we got it fixed and the stooge who did it ran the cable across the exhaust manifold and it burnt it and wrecked it. So we haven't had an actual working rev counter for like, how many years, Dad? Like 15 years? Yeah, I haven't had one working for about 15 years. We've had a new one for ages, we just haven't put it on, so we decided we'll put it on today. So we'll rip the old cable off and we'll put the new one on. And the old one, just see there, runs off the timing gears in the front there, so that's how we undo it. When we've worked on, we've zip tied it up out of the way, but the idiot had it like running through all over this and it burnt all through it and wrecked it, as you can see there. So that goes up into the cab, so we'll undo it and chuck this new one in. Alright, so this is all disconnected now. It's all cut, all the zip ties off up into the front of the cab there. Dad's just pulling the dash apart.
You can pull it through if you want.
From out here?
Yeah.
Rightio, there's the old one out. So now we'll chuck this new one up in there and get it all secured up properly and we'll start the tractor up and see what it does. Alrighty, so we got the bonnet down, the cable's all set up and hopefully ready to go. So I'll kick it in the guts. Dad's up at the house having a break. Kick it in the guts, make sure the tacho's working, and then yeah, I'll show you the difference of the revs. There's the tacho there, which we haven't seen move in a very long time. So hopefully she will work. There we go. So before, when we had it wide open, it was probably about there, about 1700 to 1800. But now it's going up to about, what's that, 2300. So we've got a lot more of an improvement there. It's good to have the tacho going. So yeah, I reckon that's pretty good. Looks like we got all the ponies back in the engine, and we've got pure power now. So that'll be good. Still needs a rebuild, and it still hasn't got as much power as it used to. Definitely more than it had. So I reckon we'll leave that video there, make it a nice short one. Yeah, it was good to get this thing sorted. Definitely good to get the tacho cables sorted. It's good having that working now. That means the hour meter will start working again. It's probably done 4,000 hours without it working, but that'll be right. So thanks all for watching, everybody. See you in the next one.